stop the jig fire from spreading any further.
Hi, this is Abigail Hernandez, and welcome back to your News Micro. This week, Kate got the opportunity to attend a procession passing through Santa Clarita Valley to honor the fallen officer, Andy Ornelas. He succumbed to his injuries Wednesday morning after being thrown from his motorcycle while patrolling. This is his story. Following that, with COVID taking over our daily lives in the world, many of us have had to work from home. What is that experience like? My interview with Wendy Cuevas answers just that. When the pandemic first began in March, most began a routine of working from home. For those, they are now accustomed to this part of their daily routine. However, what is it like for someone starting work from home midway into the pandemic? And what is that like? For Wendy Cuevas, it's been a difficult journey, but she continues to adjust and find a way through these weird times.
And usually could be in person and they can help you and it's a lot easier, but now I have to kind of figure it out on my own.
Not only is Wendy facing the difficulties of learning a new job virtually, but she is now also facing the difficulties of a work environment that is socially isolated.
From having actual interactions with people to now just having everything virtual.
Wendy does, however, share that despite its downsides, working from home has also brought her peace of mind regarding her health and the ongoing pandemic.
Because before they had everyone work remote, there was a couple cases that came up where I was working, so it was a little stressful to think that someone that I would be like in close contact with had COVID and I didn't even know it.
So, despite a late start to working at home and despite a road of adapting ahead of her, Wendy has found the positive in a rough situation. Not only has COVID affected our work lives, but it has also affected the lives of many athletes. Evan describes what training for his sport is during COVID.
During the 2020 pandemic, Anthony Stewart has been faced with many problems, one of which interferes with his track career and his training. It also affects his ability to compete with other athletes and represent the COC name.
It has its pros and its cons for sure. On the pro side, you feel me, it helps me really go jogging, that sort of thing. And then the cons is the fact that I can't get into a weight room to really strengthen myself for the season.
Although the pandemic can be depressing in many different ways, he always looks at the positive aspect of things and expects athletes to look at it as a blessing rather than a curse, so that they can always have the confidence they have when competing.
Yes, because I feel like this really shows every athlete where they're at individually, and it gives them time to really like work out the things that they know they need to work on, so stronger for them.
Anthony believes that the pandemic is actually better for athletes because they can work at their own pace rather than being in a group and having high expectations from the coaches.
My training for sure has gotten me faster. I didn't work on like strengthening for the most part for what I can do during the pandemic, and last season I didn't get to do as much as that because I was working on stamina, but as of now I'm way better than I am going to be last season.
Absolutely remarkable. I'm Evan Adams, and this is Cougar News.
And with all the weight of COVID, Kate brings us an inspirational story about a father in Tesoro who almost died from COVID-19 and now has set up a 35-minute light show COVID safe for the holidays.
custom programmed light show, and a whole lot of Christmas cheer in a time when it's needed by many. This is what Ryan Villafers of Tesoro has been working on for nearly a year. A 35-minute holiday light show synced to music on a custom FM radio station. But it hasn't all been easy for Ryan. He was one of the first to be diagnosed with COVID-19 in mid-March, and it was far from an easy battle for him and his family.
I was in renal failure. They found necrosis in my kidneys. My kidneys were dying. My heart wasn't working. My heart actually almost stopped while I was on the ventilator.
Despite the life-threatening challenges this husband and father has endured, he had a goal, and that was to give his family and community the joy of Christmas spirit. After months of recovering at home after being released from the ICU, he did just that.
So the project became really a labor of love. Like it was that project that I started with excitement to give my family something that would be kind of fun and different. Not just with COVID and not just with what happened to me, but what's happened to this year. It became so much more than that. The fact that it's doing that for other people too in this year at this time, it just makes it all the better.
It's no doubt that with everything Ryan has been through in 2020, pulling off this amazing of a show was a true Christmas miracle. Reporting from Canyons News, I'm Cade Kostick.
And to top it all off, with the hardships of COVID, it is always important to look out for one's mental health. Jorge tells us how we can be on the lookout for warning signs and how we can help each other out during these difficult times.
Lockdown has not been kind to any of us. With more and more restrictions being put in, such as Mayor Garcetti's new lockdown order, only time will tell when we will be able to return to a sense of normalcy. So until then, we must continue to social distance. But what effects have social distancing had on learning and education? And how have students and faculty been able to adjust to this situation? I sat down with Priscilla Benitez, a clinical supervisor at the College of the Canyons Mental Health and Wellness Center, to talk more about how COVID has been affecting all of us.
Now with the new restrictions going on, even more so, we are, told to stay home. So we really can't go out there and connect with others. However, that doesn't mean that we can't connect entirely. It's important that, we are social creatures. So it's very important that we do connect socially. And this is hard for faculty as well. I heard from a teacher that it's hard for her to see all these boxes and to teach to all these boxes. She's not used to that. She's used to seeing her students and interacting face to face with her students. So, just reach out to them as well and have conversations with them and check in with them, check in with the strong, not only those who are having trouble, but for the strong, because sometimes we put on a strong, face or a strong facade and we're really struggling on the inside, but we don't want anyone to know that. So just check in on the strong is what I say.
So while it may be easy for us to just roll out of bed 2 minutes before class and to sign into Zoom with our cameras off, do yourself and your teacher a favor. Sign in and pay attention. Reporting for Canyons News, I'm George Luis Aguila.
Thank you for tuning in, Cougars, and have a nice day.